What's up, spectators? Welcome back to another episode of Ace Attorney 6 DLC. We are now beginning a new set of testimony from Soren Sprocket. The truth is, I went to the Vista deck with Pierce. That's why my name doesn't My name doesn't appear on the hold entry record. I was badly injured from being stabbed, but I was frantic. By the time we reached the scene, it was all over. Right, because we're trying to say that he was there, and he was the one who killed dumbass Gloomsbury. Mr. Sprocket, you've concealed information from us time and time again. Well, everyone does that. Who do you think you are, treating this court of law with such irreverence? That being said, I do appreciate the testimony you gave just now. Thanks to you, we now know why your name doesn't appear on the entry record. Now there are no more inconsistencies in the witness's testimony. That's Mr. Edgeworth for you. He never leaves a loose end dangling. You okay, Nick? I wouldn't exactly call this situation okay. Somehow I'll have to coax the information we need for an opening out of him. If I even can, that is. You didn't mention this because you didn't want Mr. Nichidi to fall under suspicion? Is that because he has something to hide? I just didn't want the police to take up his time with all their questions, that's all. Neither the company nor the household would function smoothly without him. I see. Sounds like Pierce is absolutely indispensable to the Sprockets. Anyway, getting back to your statement. When did you meet up with Mr. Nichidi? We met up on my way to the Vista deck. I think Pierce and some of my relatives were on another floor. But Pierce heard the commotion and came running to my aid. He could hear the pandemonium all the way from another floor? Mr. Wright, would you like the current statement added to the witness's testimony? Yes, please, Your Honor. Very well. Pierce heard the commotion and he came running. Hold it! Did Mr. Nichidi come alone? I believe some of his subordinates were with him, but I don't remember exactly how many. You may say there were others, but seeing how they pulled that second reception off, I can't completely trust anything he has to say either. I see. So you, Mr. Nichidi, and a few others headed to the Vista deck, is that right? That's right? That's why my name doesn't appear on the hold entry record. Hold it! Your name doesn't appear on... Yes, I said that. Because you entered with Mr. Nichidi using his keycard. That's right. So I guess the hold entry record doesn't matter as much as we thought. But now that Soren's saying he was with Pierce and a few others, it's pretty tough to refute that statement. What's the matter, Mr. Wright? Cat got your tongue? Did you finally realize there's no point in continuing this trial any longer? Of course not. I'll wipe that smug look off your face. Mr. Sprocket, please continue with your testimony. I was badly injured from being stabbed, but I was frantic. Hold it! Speaking of your injury, how are you doing now? The knife wound is deep, and continues to throb with pain. Fortunately, my internal organs were spared. But one wrong move would have spelled the end for me there. Even so, I've seen you up and about all over the place since the incident. I'm only following my doctor's orders to perform some daily light exercises. Mr. Wright? Would you like Mr. Sprocket's statement about his condition added? Not that it appears especially relevant to me. Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to have it added to his testimony. Very well. The knife wound is quite deep and continues to throb with pain.
Hold it!
Your injury was really that deep. Luckily, it missed my internal organs, otherwise I wouldn't be alive right now. According to his doctor, his injury will take about 3 weeks to heal. There's no way someone with that kind of injury could have gone along the outside wall. But he might have been able to with the burst of adrenaline brought on by pain. Adrenaline, is that your answer for everything? In a court of law, the only thing that matters is evidence, not rampant speculation. At least admit it's scientific rampant speculation. May I continue? Yes, of course.
Hold it!
So you still insist that you reached the Vista deck after the murder had occurred? Is that correct? Yes, that's right. Ellen must have killed him. There's no other explanation. I guess whether Pierce was with Soren or not doesn't change the outcome. I guess not. In fact, more witnesses actually makes it worse for us. So another cover-up, huh? That Soren has too many secrets. I bet he's still hiding other things too. That's definitely a possibility. But in a situation like this, what we have to do is go back to the basics. You mean go over the testimony and check for any lies? You got it. Alright, Nick, let's go for it. Alright, so we have 2 things that were added to the testimony that we can try presenting evidence against. One being his injury, and one being... the second... what was the second one? Pierce heard the commotion. That's probably the one. Maybe if I show the diagram... Where is it? Where is it?
Objection!
Nope, that's not it. Ah, don't embarrass yourself, Phoenix. Why not only 50%? Dun 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 dun. Let's see. Shadowy figure. Painted. Timekeeper clock. No, that can't be right. Wait, the second picture. No. Do 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 do. Maybe it's not this statement. I could try going to this one again. Not that it makes any sense to me.
Objection!
Okay, that's the one that didn't make any sense to me. You just said your injury is a knife wound. Oh, is that what he said? Well, I completely missed that. That's my fault then. But the weapon you were stabbed with was this candelabra. A fact I know you're quite aware of. Very well. This is what I heard directly from Master Soren himself. As you surmised, Master Soren was stabbed by Gloomsbury on the day of the murder. It happened after the first wedding reception. The happy couple was in the reception hall when suddenly Gloomsbury appeared. He attacked Miss Ellen and tried to take her away. Master Soren went to stop him and found himself in a struggle with Gloomsbury. That's when Master Soren was stabbed with the candelabra, he said.
Objection!
It must have been a simple memory slip that made him misspeak. It happens to everyone. It has nothing to do with the case. You must be pretty desperate to point out something so minute. I have to agree, Mr. Wright. You hardly need to make such a big deal over such a small mistake. But I contend that it's an important inconsistency. Besides, I couldn't find anything else. This is the only thing I have to go after. And I say it's not important. Now, let's not waste any more time on this matter. I agree. Everybody has a little memory lapse every now and then.
Hold it!
Your Honor, please let me explain. But can you? Can you really explain this to the court? What makes the slip so important? Yes, I can, Your Honor. After all, it was Soren himself who told Pierce that he was stabbed by a candelabra. This is more than a simple memory slip. There has to be some kind of reason for it. Well, Mr. Wright, please explain why the witness's slip of the tongue is so important. The point to focus on here is why the witness would mistake the weapon used to stab him. This could very well change the course of the trial. I see. So why did the witness make that mistake, Mr. Wright? Why? Because he has no... he can't create new memories. He has no memory of it. That's why he writes so diligently in his notebook after his first accident. Yeah! He doesn't remember the incident, let alone the weapon used against him. Not only that, but I believe Mr. Sprocket has some sort of memory disorder. Therefore, the defense contends that Mr. Sprocket's testimony thus far is invalid.
Objection!
Just because you can't find a flaw in his testimony, you want to throw it all out? Your baseless claim is nothing but pure slander of the witness's character. Mr. Edgeworth is correct, Mr. Wright. Can you explain your grounds for making this claim? Of course, Your Honor. Think of what Soren has said, how he's behaved. That's where I'll find a clue. Very well, let's hear your argument then. The notebook he always has with him. I saw daily events and information about the people around him recorded in it. Like a diary, perhaps. No, Your Honor. It's much too detailed to be an ordinary diary. It's more on the order of a database, actually. A database, you say? That's right. For some reason, Mr. Sprocket is apparently unable to retain memories. That's why he writes every little detail of his life down in his notebook.
Objection!
How could you possibly know that for sure? He might just be an extremely compulsive person. I thought so too myself at first. To be honest, we accidentally got a stain on that notebook yesterday. You got a stain on it. You're the one who tried to grab it out of my...
Objection!
Never mind whose fault it was, just get to the point already. Right, sorry. Mr. Sprocket. The page Miss Faye got a stain on yesterday. That's the page with the details of your stabbing on it, isn't it? No, I only write it in this notebook because I'm very compulsive. Now drop the subject already. Sorry, but I'm not convinced. I noticed an odd fact about your notebook, Mr. Sprocket. On the earlier pages, you used it to write down invention ideas. But after a certain date, you started writing down a lot more, and in much more detail. I believe your memory disorder stems from what happened on that date. Something so monumental it caused a memory disorder, Mr. Wright. You don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but I do know what I'm talking about, and this is the proof. This is the thing that caused Mr. Sprocket's memory disorder.
Take that!
You were involved in this car accident too, weren't you, Mr. Sprocket? And the shock of losing your beloved older sister is what caused you to develop your memory disorder. Is this true, Mr. Sprocket? Well, is it? It's true. That accident did something to my mind. What? Ever since that day, every time I go to sleep, I lose my memories. And when I wake up, the most recent thing I can remember is the day I lost my sister. It's as if I'm constantly going back in time. That's truly tragic. An inconsolable time traveler who goes back in time whenever he goes to sleep. Besides, time travelers do exist, you know. But you wouldn't understand. So that's what Soren meant. He was talking about himself. The reactions of the people around me each time I awoke made me aware of my condition. That's why I decided to write everything down in my notebook, so I can move forward. So the only memories you have since that day are the ones written in that notebook. That's right. And since the page about your stabbing got stained, you couldn't read from it, could you? There's just one more thing I'd like you to clarify for me, Mr. Sprocket. Exactly what are your feelings toward the victim? That's right, Your Honor. The witness said that every time he wakes up from sleep, his mind goes back to the day his sister died. Mr. Wright, you can't mean... Mr. Sprocket? Your pent-up feelings of anger and resentment towards Mr. Gloomsbury for the accident were renewed each and every time you woke, were they not? But you couldn't take it anymore, so you turned to murder, isn't that right? Mr. Wright, are you saying that the witness murdered Mr. Gloomsbury? For revenge? Well... But Bride is back. Miss Wyatt. Your Honor, I did it. I killed Mr. Gloomsbury. What are you trying to do? Well, it's pretty obvious what she's trying to do. Don't tell me you're still thinking of going that route. Soren is innocent. He can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Ellen, please! Try and get hold of yourself. Guess she really meant it. My Soren didn't do anything wrong. I'm the one who should be convicted. Are we to understand that you're confessing your guilt? No, no, no. Now wait just a minute here. Why would you cover for me? After I testified that I thought you must have killed him. I'll admit I couldn't believe my ears at first. But all I want is for you to be happy. Your happiness is my happiness, Soren. But without my notebook, I'd even forget those feelings of yours by tomorrow. Knowing that, do you still feel this way? You've loved me all this time. Has he? The same way you did before the accident. Oh, okay, before the accident. That's how I know that you're the same person I've always loved. No disorder can change that. Your Honor, there are two things I'd like to correct. What are they? Tammy! What are you doing? First of all, I want to withdraw one of my statements. That's right, Dumas was killed by Ellen. Without memories to rely on, I took the police completely at their word. You can't be serious. So that means... Soren never really doubted Ellen in the first place, did he, Nick? Ellen really does love Soren with all her heart. But in order to save her, I'll still have to go after Soren. I hope you can forgive me, Ellen. And what is your other correction, Mr. Sprocket? The truth is, I never felt anger or resentment towards Dumas about my sister. Why not? That's because the one who caused the car accident was me. What? Order! Please continue, Mr. Sprocket. But we'll have to save that for the next episode, so we'll end it on this cliffhanger here. So stay tuned! And thanks for watching. Bye-bye!